guys, hope you all are doing well. In this video, we will learn about Django Admin. So Django Admin is a command line utility provided by the Django web framework. It allows developers to perform a variety of administrative tasks related to Django projects. Also, these tasks include creating and managing projects, applications, migrations, and databases. So in this video, we are going to implement three important points. We'll learn how to add the users, add the permissions, and how to add groups on the Django admin interface. So let's get started. Since we already know that we need to run the server using python manage.py run server. After this, go to your browser. So you need to write localhost 8000, use the URL as /admin. Now you will be able to see an interface where it is asking you your username and password. So right now we are not having it. We need to create one. For this, we are going to create a super user. Alright, so let's create a super user. But before that, you must ensure that you already have migrated all your pending tables. So let's just once check that if everything is migrated, python manage.py migrate. For the very first time, if you're creating a super user in your project and you have not migrated initially, you must do it at least once. So we are getting a message that no migrations to apply. Great. So let's write down the command python manage.py create super user. Create super user. So right, so what name would you like to have? By default, it will consider the name that you are having in your system, your username, you can say. So I'll just hit enter because I would like to have it the same way, that is Navneet. Email address I don't want to specify. Password, let's say I'm specifying 123. I have already written, but it won't show it here. So I hit enter. Password again, I'm writing 123. The password is too short. It must contain numeric. It must contain at least 8 characters, too common. Bypass, yes, I would like to bypass. That's okay, no issues. We are just trying to check the concepts. So it's already created. Let's get back to the interface. Once refresh. Okay, so I need to run the server. Python manage.py run server. So it started. Now let's refresh. Now I'm going to write the super user as my name that we specified. Password is 123. You need to log in, and this is what you see in the interface. Here you will be able to see whatever the groups you have created. You can click here and you can see what groups you have created. Right now it's 0 groups. You can click on the users and see what users you have created. For now you see only the super user. And right below this, if you create any models, you will be able to see all your models right here at this particular place. As we already discussed that we are going to perform the following few functionalities where we are going to learn how to add user, how to add permissions, like how to assign them permissions, and later on we will see how to add the groups. So there are two ways to do the same. One is using the interface. Second one will be using the Python shell. Now when you come to this interface, you can see that there are groups and users. When you click on users, you see an add user option here. which will allow you to add the username, the password, and the password confirmation. Once you save, you will be able to see that particular user right below this super user. And when you want to assign permissions, let's say I would like to assign permission to this user, which is already a super user, you can click on it and you will be able to see available permissions. You can select any one of these. Let's say I want that this user should be able to add the employee into the employee table, or maybe any other stuff. So you can click on this arrow and the permission gets added. All you have to do is a save here. But uh, since we need to know what are the commands which are required to create the user and then assign the permission, we need to now go back to the Python shell in order to perform this. Let's open the Python shell, python manage.py shell. You need to import your user model from django.contrib.auth.models. Import the user model. What this does, this imports the user model from Django's built-in auth module, and the user model is a part of Django's authentication framework and provides functionality for creating and managing the user accounts. This includes fields such as username, email, and password. So let's hit enter. Now after this, you need to write user equals to user dot objects dot create underscore user. Now within the parentheses, you have to specify what username you want to create. Let's say I would like to create the username as nav. Email is not mandatory, but anyhow you can specify if you need, @gmail.com. And the last one is a password, where I'll write 123 as the password. Now what is the purpose of this? Let's see. First, you have this user.objects. This accesses the manager for the user model manager to create. This allows you to perform database operations like creating, querying, and updating the users. And this you have this create underscore user, which is a built-in method provided by Django's user model manager to create a new instance. This will automatically handle password hashing, ensuring that password is securely stored in the database. And these three are the details. The create user method here will return the user object, which is assigned to the variable user. So it says password must be a string or byte. So okay, so I'll just put this inside a string. No issues. It's done already, but is it created? No, it's not. So all you have to do now is use user dot save. Now it is saved. Alright, so it's time to verify if our user got created or not. I have to run the server once again, so you can exit from here and use python manage.py run server. So let's have a look. Right, so great, you can see that our user is now created. Now after clicking on this, you will be able to add the permission, but we need to add the permission using the Python shell. We need to know the commands. Let's get back to the Python shell once again, and now we need to grant permission to this particular user. We will decide that later on, that what permission we need to assign. First of all, let's write from Django dot contrib. Every time you need to write these commands, dot auth dot models import permission comma user. Permission represents a specific permission that can be assigned to users or groups, and user is the user in the system. Next is from Django.contrib.content types. Content types models import content type. Content type provides a way to associate permissions with the specific models. Next, we are going to now import one model. If you remember, in the previous lecture, we created one model called as EMP. So I have already changed it to employee model. I have already migrated this model, and you will be able to assign any permission related to this particular table. And if you would like to see the table, that's here in db.sqlite. This is that table that contains some data. All right. So we are now going to import that model from myapp.models import employee. Now we need to retrieve a user. Let's say I represent the user as user, and I need to use user dot objects dot get in order to retrieve the user. So I write here username equals to what username do we want to fetch? That is the one that we just created, that is nav user. Hit enter. Next is we need to get the content type for the employee model. We need to use content underscore type. This is just a variable. Content type dot objects dot get. Objects dot get underscore for underscore model, and the model is employee. So what we are doing here, we are getting the content type for the employee model. Content type is used to identify the model here, that is employee, to which the permission will be applied. So now we have to actually fetch any one of these permissions, the ones that are written here. So for example, I can make my user to add the employee, to let's say to change the employee, to delete the employee, and so on. All right, so for this I'm going to create one variable. Let's say I want the user to only view the data inside the employee table. So I write view underscore permission equals to permission dot objects dot get. Inside the parentheses, you can specify the code name. So code name equals to, the code name here will be view underscore employee, because I want the user only to view the table. So it will be view underscore employee. If you want the user to add the data into the employee table, it will be add underscore employee. You can actually check it from here, just like this. Okay, let's proceed. View employee, and you also have to specify content underscore type, which is a variable, equals to content underscore type. So the code is view employee, which uniquely identifies this permission, and content type equals to content type means that it will ensure the permission is tied to the employee model. Now you are ready to add this permission. Use user dot user underscore permissions dot add. What is the permission? That is view underscore permission. So your permission has been added, but how to verify? As we are not able to see any model, or you can say any kind of, need to run the server, need to exit this python manage.py run server. We are not able to see any table here. How do we know that my user will be able to view the table? So can you see this? This is automatically added. Can view the employee. We didn't do it from the interface. We actually did it using the commands. But when you refresh, you'll be able to see the added permission here. That's great, but still there is no table here. We need to verify that whether the user is really able to view that table or not. For this, you must ensure that you do register your model inside the admin.py. Inside the admin.py, your model is not registered. When you check your models, you already have one model which is migrated. As already I have shown you here, that we are having a table of the employee model, but we are not able to see that table on the admin interface, Django admin interface. So we have to register admin.site.register your model, that is employee model. Also you have to import from dot models import employee model. So right, so it is now running. Let's check. So you're able to see your applications, all the tables. Now when you click on this, you're able to see those you can say the data that we inserted here, the data that we inserted in the previous video, this one. But right now you do not see any kind of, let's say, you're not able to see the names, the first name, last name, and the salary. You are able to see objects. So if you want to see strings but not objects, you can use def underscore underscore str underscore underscore self and return nf string and you can return self dot username and self dot last name. We can once verify that in the employee we are having first name and last name, right? I don't want to see the salary initially. I would like to see the first name and the last name. Okay, that's great. So let's check on the browser. Refresh once. Okay, attribute username has no attribute username. Right. Okay, my bad. I have to use first name you're able to see the employee name instead of the objects. But we have not yet again verified that whether the user now is able to see the data. This is right now I have logged in from the super user. As you can see, I can edit also. I can delete also from here. But now I need to, in order to verify whether nav user is able to only view the table or not, I have to log out. So after you have logged out, log in again, use nav user, password is 123. Please enter the correct username and password for a staff account. Note that both fields may be case sensitive. I'll just check it once again. NAV, that's 123. Okay, so continuously we are getting this error. We are getting this because we have not given the staff status to our user. Means you will not be able to log in unless a staff status has been given. So we need to once again log in through the super user and change the status of our nav user by using the staff status. It should be checked. Okay, so now you can save it, log out. Now you need to log in again. So log in now using your nav user, and it's great to see that you are now able to see this table, and the user will only be able to see, means only have a look at the data but not do anything else. Like the user will not be able to delete the data or add anything or update the data. So it means that we have achieved assigning the permission to a particular user. Okay, so same way you will be able to create groups as well. For creating group, use from django.contrib.auth.models import group. You need to import the group model. Now create a variable group equals to group. We have to now create a new group. Name equals to, let's say I'm simply writing some new group. This would be the name, and you need to group.save. Right, now if you want to see whether it's created, you can use group.objects.all in order to see if it's created. Yes, one new group has been created. Let's get back to the browser and log in as super user to see if our group is showing. So for this, we'll have to run the server. Log in using the super user. Okay, it is 1, 2, 3. Right, click on groups and you see a new group has been created. Further, you can make changes, like you can assign permissions to this group. Just like we created the user and assigned permissions, same way you can create groups and assign permissions. So for this, I'm going to import all the irrelevant models first of all. And now you have to fetch the relevant group. So group equals to group.objects.get. You need to fetch the name of that group, and the name is new group. Your group is fetched. Now you can use content underscore type variable equals to content type dot objects dot get underscore for underscore model. Which model do we need? It is employee model. Now let's say view permission only I'm going to give. I'm going to create a variable as view permission equals to permission dot objects dot get. I'm going to use the code name equals to view underscore employee and content underscore type equals to content underscore type. Right. And finally, group dot permissions dot add, and then specify the name of the permission, that is view underscore permission. Spelling mistake, permission. So it has been added. Let's now verify. We also have to run the server. Let's check. So click on this user and you see that your permission has now been added. So hope you liked this video regarding Django Admin, and we learned how we can create users, groups, and assign permissions to them. Stay tuned for the upcoming videos.